King Cobra. Retrospective Discussion with the owner. My name is Scott Jones. I am your host of the Urban Retrospect. Thank you for joining us. As a reminder, you can find the Urban Retrospect on Instagram at the Urban Retrospect, as well as on Facebook, the Urban Retrospect. Subscribe on YouTube, the Urban Retrospect, and then you can also find us on Twitter, which is Retrospect 1619. But this evening we have the owners of John Tom's Barbecue Sauce. And before I kick it off to who we have joining us, I need to also introduce you to my co-hosts real quick. I have Greg Jones, representing from Cincinnati, Ohio. Go ahead. Then I have Ramsey James, representing Nashville, Tennessee. Down in the corner here, I have Wesley Newell, representing the Mount Juliet outside of the Nashville, Tennessee. And then at the bottom in the Cleveland Browns sweatshirt, don't know why.
Dogs gonna eat at some time.
We have Kendrick. Hey,
Okay.
hey, that's right. We
play Cincinnati.
But as we said, we're this evening having a retrospective discussion with the owner. And this evening we have the owners of John Tom's Barbecue Sauce. So thank you for joining us. As we do with any of the products that we review and they have unanimous fist up, we like to, just bring you on for an interview, ask you some questions. You can provide us with any secrets to what you're doing, or even give a shout out to what you have coming up. But again, thank you for joining us on here this evening. So
sure, we appreciate you having us.
Oh no, it's no problem.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start off, man. Like Scott said, appreciate y'all being on. Now, how did y'all brothers get into the barbecue business, bro?
I'll take this. Well, Terrell and I are first cousins, and the name John Tom is actually our grandpa. His name was John Tom Branson, and John Tom was an avid barbecue guy. Even before it was popular. I know everybody got a smoker in their backyard now, and everybody think they smoke the best meat, but John Tom was doing this decades ago. So Terrell and I, we grew up in that culture, barbecue family. John Tom had a secret sauce that he had created years ago. But you know how they cooked back then. They didn't write anything down. So he never wrote his recipe down. Just knew it, and it came out the same every time. And so I got a few years on Taro. So, you know, I was pretty close to my grandpa. Used to go to the store with him when he would buy ingredients and all that. So we grew up in that. Anyway, fast forward, John Tom passed away when I was about 11 years old. Okay. And when I was attending college at IU, just one random weekend, I was grilling and thought that I should try to make my grandpa's sauce based off memory of what he put in it. And so I did. I tried it. I went to the store, got ingredients, threw it in a pot, and didn't get it at all. And so trying to recreate his sauce turned into an obsession of mine. And so I spent the next about 4.5 years trying to create my grandpa's barbecue sauce. In the process, I kind of deviated from that plan because I wasn't getting it. But along the way, I was on to something that I was creating on my own. And so I finally got this recipe that I thought was good. And some of my close friends and people close to me thought was very good. And so some years later, I'm working as a broadcaster in Milwaukee, and we was told that we were losing our jobs. They're going to close the news operation down at my news station. And so it was at that time that I decided, instead of continuing a career in broadcasting, I wanted to try my hand at this barbecue sauce. So Terrell had called me just checking on me, and I shared with him that, hey man, I think I'm about to try something with this sauce I created. And so we talked about it, and then Terrell asked, hey, cuz, you need some help? And I said, yeah, absolutely, because Terrell is a marketing background. So he said, well, the first thing I want to do is, I want to work on that, your logo. Okay, let's do it. So Terrell and I started collaborating, coming up with a plan, and I said, hey man, there's one more person I want to be a part of this, and that was Rodney. Rodney, my best friend, my line brother. We worked together in the bond. I was pole mark, he was vice pole. I mean, we just worked well together. And so I said, man, I want to ask Rodney to be a part of this. So we had our 10-year anniversary coming up, and we were going to Miami. And so I had presented this to Rodney. So Rodney said, well, bring some sauce to Miami. I want to taste it. So we go to Miami. I pull it out. Bruh's in the hotel room, like, man, what's that? I was like, man, y'all try this. So somebody took the top off, and Bruh's just started dipping their fingers in it. Rodney's kind of standing back watching. And everybody started raving about it. So Rodney said, no, let me taste that. So Rodney tasted it. He was like, hey man, I'm in. So that's how we kind of formed. And we spent the next 3 months like formulating everything, because we were preparing for the Indiana Black Expo in Indianapolis. That was going to be our first outing. So we were just going to put the sauce out there, let people taste it, because we figured if anybody going to let us know we got a product, it's our people. So Indiana Black Expo was our first event. And by the end of that weekend, man, we were totally convinced that we had a product that would sell. So that's kind of the abbreviated version of how we got together, man, on this.
Okay, cool. Right. Now, I had to give y'all some slack, man. Like, I'm from the South, Alabama.
Oh Lord.
And we do barbecue. So when Scott first presented, I saw Indiana. Like, what did Indiana know about barbecue, man? So, do y'all get any slack because y'all based out of Indiana because of barbecue? Because Indiana's not known for barbecue sauce.
Right. that's interesting because I mean that's part of the story, man. Um, you know, our grandpa, where do you think he was from? He's from Mississippi. You
Yeah.
know, the Great Migration, man. Everybody, he's going north, looking for jobs, looking for better, opportunities. Well, they brought with them, hey, they knew how to throw down,
Yeah.
So, but you're right, man. We live in an area that hasn't claimed anything about barbecue. You got the Carolinas, you got Kansas City, you got Memphis, you got Texas, you got your regions, but nothing's ever been claimed in Indiana.
Yeah.
And I think that's what kind of make us special. We feel like we can be the ones that make our mark on this area. And barbecue, man, it's transcended borders, man. That's over with. I mean everybody knows the Alabama white sauce, or we know the Carolina mustard. I mean,
hold on. Let me be real. Black folks in Alabama don't do the white sauce.
They don't do the white sauce.
That's the other Alabama.
That's the other Alabama.
Y'all ain't doing the white sauce, huh?
We don't do the white sauce. I don't know nobody who does the white sauce. I saw that on TV.
I don't even know what you're talking about, white sauce.
Yeah. So go ahead, bro. My bad. I ain't mean to cut you off.
But the point I was making, man, is just, barbecue is a huge business right now. And, it's not so much territorial, regional. Those borders have been crossed, man. And, I think it's a fine opportunity for someone to say, hey, we're from Indiana. We know how to do, barbecue and sauce too. So,
right. Cool. Have there been any challenges y'all face, jumping in this industry?
We've had a lot of challenges, brother. You talking about in terms of competition or just any challenges?
Just challenges as far as competition or just trying to get in the door, people slamming doors in your face? Or...
All the above. Just as, I'm not sure if we talked about this, but we didn't know anything about the food industry. I'm from IT sales, Terrell's from marketing, and Lethay's journalism. So we had no idea. So we jumped in this thing cold. So we were met with a whole bunch of headwind, a whole bunch of challenges, cash flow issues. How do you sell? How do you market? We didn't know anything. We just knew we went to Black Expo. We sold out within 2 days. We got a product. Now what's next? What do we do? So along the way, we figured things out through trial and error. We're still going through trial and error, but we have learned. We're not there yet, but we also learned what not to do, right? We've had to identify who we are, what we want to do, and we're still at some point trying to tweak that. However, we've cut a lot of corners in terms of I'll take this back. We cut some corners, but we also lost a lot of things along the way. A lot of sacrifices, man. A lot of sacrifices. So we know this is ordained. We know it's meant to be because it's in our hearts and our passion. We want to carry the legacy of John Toms. We think it's a perfect opportunity to move forward. So we're still going through these some of these headwinds, but we got a lot of favor we're going right now. We're going to exploit that.
Yeah, I can tell you should do sales, boy. You polished, bro.
So
he came with that Obama answer. I was just like, dog.
But Wes, if I could just
go ahead,
down a little bit, because with us growing up in the Midwest, and I know some of you guys have spent some time there, it's a different mindset. We kind of had that blue collar manufacturing mindset. So we hustle hard, we go hard. And I think that's the other unique aspect of who we are.
Cool.
We don't necessarily take no's. We find new avenues and new ways to keep pushing forward. So challenges really are opportunities, and finding new paths to blaze and just keep pushing ourselves forward. So
gotcha.
We got a unique mix and unique crew in how we do things.
Yeah, man. As Black people, one thing that's good about us, especially Black people here in America, we know how to adapt. You know what I'm saying? We are very adaptable. So that's when that Corona hit. we ain't protesting about liberties, cause hell, you know, we always gotta know how to adapt this stuff, you know. So
Corona ain't done. It ain't done. Corona ain't done.
I know it ain't done. So we purchase your items online. Are you in any type of grocery stores or markets other than online?
Yeah,
we're in.
We're in Kroger. We're in some Kroger stores, and the stores that we're in, we're pretty confined to Indiana.
Okay.
Right now, as far as retail space, but we're in about 45 Kroger stores in Indiana. We're in some Target stores. We're in some Fresh Times. Smaller company called Needler's Market, and then we're in a lot of privately owned mom and pop stores, and then we also do food service. So we provide sauce for Indiana University dining, Indiana State dining, Ball State University dining. But yeah, we can be, especially if you're in Indiana, primarily central Indiana, but we also got some reach north and south. But those are the things that we're working towards, man. As you can imagine, retail, man, retail is a very, very competitive field, and we have barbecue sauce. So there are a million barbecue sauces out there.
Yes,
so
there is.
What's going to make us a difference? What's going to set us apart? And so those are the things that we're trying to articulate, trying to figure out, and make other people realize that that we offer something different. So, but yeah, we're trying to cross those Indiana borders, man, and get into some stores, at least regionally right now.
Okay. Now, who came up with the minimum 2-day shipping?
Who came up with the what? I'm sorry.
The minimum 2-day shipping. and I'm going to say that because I'm not going to lie. We have ordered some products that have taken a very long time. But when we ordered at John Tom's, it was done in 2 days.
Absolutely.
So whoever came that bad, y'all need to give him an extra 1%.
But honestly, man, when we talk about setting ourselves apart, it's service as well.
Yes.
And we when you order that, I mean, and the thing is that when you order, we all get notification, and if I don't see it, Rodney sees it. If Rodney doesn't see it, Terrell sees it. Somebody's like, hey, we got an order. And so we try to get that out, to you as soon as possible, so that you can get it and enjoy it. Because we do know that is a problem, people waiting to receive. We've messed up a couple times. I mean, there's, we've gotten better, but there's a couple times where someone got it late or we didn't receive it, and we always make it right, man. We make it right. We're gonna send you a shirt, send you some extra sauce or something, just to let you know we value you as a customer. So yeah, man, you order, we trying to get it to you as soon as we can.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why we did this broadcast, because people just throwing there, just support us because you're black, just support us because we black. But then we have the stigma of black not giving good customer service. So I really appreciated the 2-day shipping. That's why I threw that question in there, because, that shows like, hey, man, we about our business. You about your business. And, hey, you trying to make us happy, man. And, you keeping us looking good. So you look good, we all look good. So
it's funny, Wes, like when you say that, like, I think another differentiator with us is just the experience that people get when they engage with us. So we try to translate that in different avenues, of course, through the online shipping. But so much of what we do in the one-to-one space and interacting with people, man, we turn up.
What you got to do, man.
Like we legit turn up when people engage with us at different food expos and different shows. Like we bring the music, we bring the energy, we pull people in. Like we laugh, we crack jokes, we dance. So, I mean, we try to reflect that experience through any facet of our business. Now, of course, the health crisis has put a little bit of a damper on that, but I mean, you could see us at any show, and anyone could attest that that's who we are as an organization, but who we are as people too.
Yeah.
So it's fun. I think that's the other thing too. We enjoy what we do, and we have fun engaging with people as well.
Cool.
So what's your experience, what you just said, that's what we long for. So because you're gonna tell somebody who's gonna tell somebody else. And we're a brand company. So if you have a bad customer service, there's, like what they said, there's a million barbecue sauces out there.
Yeah.
Next. Right.
Yep.
We didn't get our stuff on time, so we're going to somebody else. And Scott, like I told you, when you guys ordered that one time, I told you I got a little cha-ching that happens every time somebody orders. So we gonna miss that order, man.
And,
That's a nice little ringtone, cha-ching. Oh.
you know, it's kind of good because you think about it, you send it in 2 days. You know, I'm 5 minutes away from a Kroger. So it's easy for me to get barbecue sauce.
Exactly.
If you send it to me in 2 days, I don't have to worry about going that 5 minutes. So,
but you also think about that Amazon experience. Yeah, everybody has that Amazon experience, and Amazon expectation at this point too. So we're longer than 4 or 5 days, and we're forgotten about that quick. So we also keep that in mind.
Rodney, I think that you brought up really a huge point. So like I ordered I just recently, I didn't even tell my co-host about this. I just ordered something from a friend of mine at school, and he solicited from me, and I went ahead and I purchased the item. It didn't come until a month later, which was yesterday. And then when it got here, the man from USPS said, "Oh yeah, that'll be $270 COD." I was like, "Hey man, what kind of nonsense?"
No, that's wrong.
You know what I'm saying? I said, you can't do that. I said, man, send it back to him, and I'll deal with him. I'll deal with him one-on-one. The reason why I bring this up is because a lot of companies, whether they be small Black companies or white companies or whomever, a lot of small businesses don't understand that customer experience is the best piece of marketing that is out there, because it can either help to promote, it's free, the customer a positive experience is free promotion for your product. But that negative experience is free downgrading of it. So,
Exactly.
I really identify with that. So one of the things, and I'm actually throwing this next one kind of in here because of some of the things you guys were saying. We also try to educate ourselves, educate our audience. What is it like to get your product on these retail shelves? Like, I understand it's difficult, but is there, a short summation at all that you could give in terms of the steps that it takes to get your sauce into Kroger?
Well, I tell you, this is our second time around with Kroger. The first time was very early in the process. And honestly, just hindsight, we really didn't know what we were doing. And we joke about it. I say, sometimes ignorance is bliss, because we are the type, we'll just walk in the corporate office and say, who do we need to talk to? I have a barbecue sauce and I want it on your shelves. And in doing that, we found the person we needed to talk to. And so sometimes it's just taking a chance and just asking questions and not being afraid to walk in somewhere. So we did that with Kroger the first time, and they put us on this program, which was it forced us to do our own inventory, fill our own shelves, check our own sauce in, it was just kind of for a company, a very small company at the time, that really didn't know what we were doing. It was a lot to bite off and chew, and we really weren't prepared for it. So that opportunity went away, and we did the same thing. There was a supermarket chain called Marsh Supermarkets, and we did the same thing with them, and got some accounts, and that went away too. But the second time around with both of those grocery stores, it was an even sweeter deal, and we were ready for it, and we knew what we were doing. What we found out was Marsh in particular, they had an actual day that you could walk in with a product and give your pitch. They had Wednesday set aside for that. We didn't know that.
Wow.
So once we knew that, then we set up a meeting, and we went in on a Wednesday and we pitched it, and the second time around was sweeter. But there is it can be tedious, because you think about how many products grocery store has in it, and the competition, and everybody's trying to get their products in there. It can be very, very tedious, but not impossible, because we're there.
Okay. Now I'm the one, at least when we when we get the opportunities, I like to have a little bit of fun with these questions. So I got a couple of them, to stay fun. I want to know, out of the three of you, who's the best on the grill? Got an idea of how this got started, but who's the best? It's okay, have confidence in yourself.
That's gonna be me, of course.
Okay.
I think everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I'm training Rodney a little bit, and he's getting better. So he's coming up, but that's gonna be me.
That's easy. Terrell, I see you leaving the mic.
Silent. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, he ain't got nothing to say.
No, he just there to eat.
I get the participation award, so I'm good.
He must be from the west side of Napa.
He the one carrying the pan. He the one carrying the pan.
He from the west side, man. You don't know about that stuff.
Okay.
I mean, but you know what, Kendrick, man, that's funny, because I think we've talked about this amongst us. Like, I've never met anyone who said they can't grill. Anyone that steps behind that grill, like, they're the best. They're the pro. Like, so
I have.
And that's why we're in business, because everybody think they can cook, and they just use our sauce, use our product.
Right.
All right.
Okay. All right. So then what is your best dish? Is it ribs? Is it chicken? What is it? Since you're proclaiming yourself as the best, even though I see Rodney has a slight objection.
Yeah. I feel his energy.
Yeah, what is Indiana's known? What's their meat they are known for?
Pork.
Right.
Well, they brought that from Mississippi.
Yeah, they brought that from Mississippi, man. Ribs. I like the traditional, man. I love to smoke ribs, chicken. Now, if I'm grilling, man, I'll get creative. I actually started doing this summer, man, just for engagement. I actually started doing this little grilling segment called John Tom's 2-Minute Tips, and I just came up with some recipes off the fly. I think the favorite was the barbecue bacon burger. And man, it had blue cheese crumbles in it, shredded cheddar cheese, onion mix, bacon, and you just lumped all that together.
We're gonna call that heart disease.
Well, hey, treat yourself, man. But
hey, Greg, why you leaning in, man?
He was describing it like man.
Right.
I'm just imagining like, damn, it sounds good.
I ain't gonna lie, man. Do you smoke the bacon?
I do smoke the bacon. I
You know,
did
I had
in the
smoked
cast iron
bacon.
skillet though. Yeah.
Smoked bacon is
But,
good, man.
Y'all
So-
might need to add a taco truck to the repertoire. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Throw those
sir.
burgers on there. You know what I'm saying? We
So-
can walk up and experience that.
Do you compete? Are you in any competition? Nothing like that.
no,
Just
no.
you haven't. There's no interest in doing it, or just you too busy.
Too busy. You know, it's funny though, man. That's, you know, I watch those shows and I think like, man, retirement, boy, that would be cool to travel around, compete, you know, see just how good I think I am against other people. I think that will be something I'd be interested in doing, you know, when I got the time. But yeah, I don't have the time. Yeah, that consumes you. You know, you gotta get you a team, and then you traveling, and but yeah, I can see myself doing that in the future.
All you got to do is get on that Netflix show, man. I'm sure you can beat the dude with the mohawk, man.
Yeah, man, he went out first round. Man, I'm like, man, I thought he was about to shut up. I picked him to win it, the whole thing.
Yeah, I knew he
He
was going
said
down.
first
He said-
round.
when that man said he usually cooked drunk with Colt 45, I said,
Oh, man.
it ain't gonna work. I said,
Done
you
deal.
better go get his John Thomas. But all right, then my last question for you, especially because you know you just said you were messing around with some recipes and everything. Do you have any recommendations on what to pair with your specific flavors? You know, you have the Hoosier Heat, the sneaky one, and you have your regular one. So, like, is there a specific dish that's best for each one of those?
You know what? Terrell, you want to tackle this? Because Terrell has been talking about this for some years, just as far as like barbecue pairings and what to pair it with. You know, I mean, our sauce is sweet. It's
Right.
You guys tasted it, so it's a sweet start. So of course you can go from there. But Terrell, you want to take a stab at it?
Hold on before you go. So
Yeah.
Terrell is the bougie one, right? He's the bougie one, huh?
Hey,
Pairing your barbecue. That's bougie, man. Tell me,
Well, he says he's the one that
Sneaky hot
participates
goes with
in the eating, right?
goes with you know what I'm saying?
It's all good, Naptown. I know how y'all get down. Rodney from there too. So. But no, so to that point, man, I pretty much have a script that I give people when they approach me at different shows. So the original is good with pretty much anything, but primarily it uses a dipping sauce. It goes good with meatloaf, meatballs, pizza, you know, things of that nature. It's family friendly, it's kid friendly, so it's a real crowd pleaser. The Sneaky Hot is in fact our #1 seller, so it has just enough spice for those that like a little bit of heat, but not too much, because you have to keep in mind that it's a barbecue sauce and not a hot sauce. So that goes good with wings, your pulled pork, you know, things of that nature. And then the Hoosier Heat, we've coined it as that because, you know, folks in the Midwest, you know, don't really like a lot of heat. So
Hold him. I tried to tell him.
right. So we keep it moderate, and we coined it as Hoosier Heat because that's something that's palatable for folks in the Midwest. But it dials it up just a little bit. That heat is more on the front end versus the back end. So if you want a little bit more spice, it'll work well with any of the products that we mentioned before.
Okay.
So that was the polished answer.
Yeah.
There you go.
He's absolutely right. What I tell people when they come to the booth, I said it goes good with everything. Potato chips, popcorn, celery, your spouse. It doesn't matter.
Hey,
It tastes good.
All right.
Hey, brother, getting some points off of this show.
Right. I was gonna say that leads me into one of my questions. You know, what's the craziest thing you've heard people put your sauce on?
A woman.
Right.
There you go.
Craziest thing.
Because people put sauce on, you know, you said popcorn, people put sauce on some crazy foods. What's the craziest food you've heard, or maybe personally have put your sauce on?
Well, I haven't heard anything too crazy, but a lot of the customers, they'll say they'll just take the spoon and just eat it right from the jar.
Yeah, we hear that a lot.
Straight to the head.
When I had
Putting
some
the sauce on steel.
when I had some that got dropped off to the side, I did just put my finger in and just smeared it up. So I could see how that's done. And actually, just to answer a couple of your questions, you know, when we were using the barbecue sauce, and whenever we use anything, we'll take a picture of it, we'll put it in the chat. So I think the first time I did it with some air fryer wings. So I did half of them with the original, and then I did the half of them with sneaky hot. They were great on both of those. I also tried the sneaky hot on my pork chops. Well, right now, and that's one of the reasons why I was rushing, I just made some cheeseburgers, and I used sneaky hot, and I used the Hoosier heat. So one for sneaky hot, one for Hoosier heat, and they taste great on both. So just like you said, Rodney, you can use it on anything. You know, I've tasted on the missus or nothing, but you know, we are celebrating 20 years.
I can tell y'all the craziest thing I've seen. John Thomas, my grandpa, man, dude used to get a plate full of. I don't know if you remember this, Terrell. He used to get a plate full of pork rinds and just cover it with barbecue sauce. You know.
Yeah, he from Mississippi.
Yeah, he
from Mississippi.
Yeah.
So what about expanding sauce offerings? I mean, we most of us got the sampler pack. Any discussions on different flavors or maybe specific wing sauce in the future?
So I'll take this first rep. We actually just talked about this early this year and late last year, and we're definitely going to expand the product set, and we're going to start introducing some seasonal sauces. I don't know if I want to talk about the one that we're about to come out now, but it's probably going to be the hottest thing. But we also did talk about a spicy garlic at one point, but that never made it. They and Terrell.
But the story on that. You know,
I think Rodney and Terrell are the ones that like they be going back and forth.
It was one night in Michigan. He said no.
Nah, that's a little joke in between. And we tried to in the very beginning tried to talk about what was coming out next, what next, and I got outvoted, and I'm still salty about it. But but yeah, we're definitely going to bring out some different product sets. Also introduce some seasoning as well. So anything around the barbecue area to kind of to go with that branding. So be on the lookout for that.
Well, here's the burning question, since we're with the barbecue sauce connoisseurs of Indiana. What's the secret to cooking a slab of ribs?
Low and slow and wrap them, man. Cook them bad boys low and slow.
Low and slow and wrap.
Low and slow, indirect heat. If you want to grill, you want to take your heat and put it on one side, and then on the other side you want a dish with some water in it, and put your ribs on that side. So you cook them slow. If you're smoking, you don't go over 225. Okay. During your last hour of grilling or smoking, wrap them in foil, heavy duty foil, or a little liquid of your choice, just a little bit, liquid of your choice. Wrap it up, put it back on, because then that's gonna make it real tender when cooking its own juices. So those two things, man, you can come on, and then whatever you want to rub it with, or you don't want to rub it, that's to your discretion. But those two things, just man, cooking them low and slow and wrapping them for that, about that last hour. And I'll tell you something, a little tip, man, to know when those ribs are good. you want to see your bone, you want to see the end of your bone exposed this much.
Okay.
That lets you know that the fat has rendered and that meat has kind of pulled together and it's tender.
Okay.
So you want to see that bone. If you see ribs and you don't see an exposed bone, you already know it ain't about to be tender.
You see here.
He
You
told the truth.
see what I said? I'm the best at Rodney.
Right. Now, what about when you introduce the barbecue sauce? When do you recommend doing that when cooking your ribs? Because
Well, hey, I'm like my grandpa, man. I let people pour their own sauce.
Okay.
I'm cook you the meat, and I'll let you, if you want to dip or if you want to rub some on. But if you like, your sauce to caramelize on your meat, which that's what I love about our sauce, man. It caramelizes so well. Some sauces, man, you get it and it burns just because the sugar content is very high, or it's got high fructose corn syrup, so it burns real easy. But ours just caramelized real good. But if you're gonna do that after your ribs get done, what I like to do if I'm gonna rub some on, take them out of the foil, get you a brush, rub them pretty good. Now you can either put them over the fire. If you want a little char, put them over the fire for a few seconds. Flip them, get you a little char. But if you just want them to caramelize, just brush them and put them back on that indirect side. Put the lid on, man. Let them go for another 10, 15 minutes. You're gonna get some nice caramelized sauce on it.
Yeah, you tell he gets passionate with it. He did hit the camera and
man. I was just like, man, what the collection play that? What the collection play that?
Like he was in the pulpit talking about barbecue.
That's what I love, man.
I ain't gonna lie, man. I did what you just said with some slab of ribs, but I tell you one thing, it goes good with that sneaky heat with honey.
You mix a little honey in there.
You put a little honey in there.
Okay.
Fire, bro.
Okay. I'm gonna have to try that.
I still have yet to do my meatloaf with it. I haven't made the meatloaf yet, but that was one of my goals because usually when I put my topping of my meatloaf, I'll combine barbecue sauce with ketchup as well as mix a little bit of it in the meat. So stay tuned. I'll let you know how it goes.
Okay.
You still eat meatloaf, Scott?
Do I eat meatloaf? Oh yeah, man. Please.
I told myself when I left the house, I ain't never eating meatloaf again.
Why is that?
I don't know. I never
you didn't like meatloaf? You didn't like it growing up?
Yeah, when I grew up super food. I said,
like, that was one of my mother's top dish, meatloaf with macaroni and cheese and her green beans. Golly, she even brought that to college. If they had parents' weekend or something, that's what she brought.
He from Tuscaloosa. He need pork. All pork. That's all it is.
So I got a question for y'all, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Go ahead, man.
Out of the three sauces, I got two questions. Out of the three sauces you had, which ones were your favorite? That's number one. And then number two, what made you guys want to interview us? I know you guys all gave the fist, but what was it about our product that made you guys want to interview us?
So to be clear, the Hoosier Heat, because I am from the Midwest, I don't like a lot of spicy stuff. I've yet to crack that one. All right. So I've had the original and then the Sneaky Hot. Sneaky Hot tastes better. Like I had it, actually, you know what? Not because of the interview tonight. I actually had it on a pork chop sandwich today for lunch. That boy was delicious. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it was, I don't know, it just had a little bit more flavor to it. So I like that. I like that one better of the two so far. And then in terms of why we want to interview you, I think you guys know Scott found the product, introduced you guys to us. And as we said, what we try to do, if everybody votes for the product and everybody gives it the fist up, then we want to try and bring whoever the owners are. Now, a slight caveat to this is that I know Wes and so we're all linked through basically Wes and Ramsey, all right? I went to school with Wes and Ramsey, and then, Ramsey, Scott, and Big G are all Noops like y'all. So, you know, I talk to Wes a lot. That's my point. So, you know, in coming up with this whole, this idea and different ideas for the show, one of the things that we talked about was bringing on, you know, some of the owners and giving them a chance to express the difficulties, the challenges, and even the positives. Or, you know, one of the things that we also wanted to do was express, you know, give the owners an opportunity to express, like, hey, if there's something that somebody doesn't like, there may be something that the consumer doesn't know about the overall process, like when it comes to the shipping. You know, maybe, you know, there was something going on right at that time where so the product couldn't get out as quick as normal. If the price is high, maybe it's because you're not producing it in as larger quantities, so that you know, you can get a lower price from whoever your product suppliers are. So, you know, those are the things that all went behind, you know, being able to do an interview. And we've kind of settled here, and at least for the time being, on if it's a quality product that we all had a great experience with. So, you know, that's how we got to you guys.
And
yeah, for me,
yeah,
for me, it was the. So I'm from Florida. I like the Heat. So I love the Hoosier Heat was my favorite by far. My kids love the original, right? I like the original, but I like a little heat on my barbecue sauce, and I put it on my ribs. It's excellent. And so it stood out to me. As far as the interview goes, I mean, to me, exposure. You guys talked about getting out of the region. We all are from different states. We have different ways we can influence your brand, and we do it out of love for the product. We love the product. I had no problem taking your sauce to the next barbecue I'm at, taking your sauce to TSU homecoming, and that's just going to expand a brand that I personally love and a new fan. Because the whole point in us doing this whole show was highlighting businesses, getting behind them, because why am I going to spend my money on craft when I have a better product and supporting good brothers like yourself?
Yep.
Me personally, Sneaky Hot. I think Sneaky Heat. I said hot. Sneaky Heat was my favorite. I didn't try the
Sneaky hot.
Right.
It's Sneaky Hot.
Yeah, you right.
Sneaky Hot. Sneaky Heat. Sneaky Hot. Sneaky. That's my favorite. When I go to the grocery store, it's either the Kroger barbecue sauce, it's Casey Masterpiece, or maybe Kraft. And I'm not one that's really going into these grocery stores right now in the first place, especially with what's going on. And just like, you know, everyone's mentioned, if I can, you know, select an everyday product that we're using all the time, and that's what we've been really trying to preach. Hey, these are products that we're using all the time, and hey, we're cooking. You know, that barbecue sauce is a fourth gone. Be expecting another order soon. So
Appreciate that.
So that's, you know, that's the big thing, and just wanted to support. And if the product is great and if the customer service is great, hey, this is what we're trying to do. And no, we're not getting any gain. You know, this is also a great way to fellowship. You know, we can't fellowship, you know, in the sense that we usually fellowship. So this is how we're doing it, and able to talk about great products such as yours. So,
well, that's how this started.
Appreciate it.
Exactly.
You know, we were literally all on a video call one night, you know, just sitting there drinking and talking mess.
And you know, Ramsey's kind of like not the do-gooder, but the he came up with this idea like, man, we need to support Black products. And I'm kind of the instigator, you know, y'all probably seen. I'm like, man, I ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? And I said, I ain't doing it. And then we just came up with the idea, just like, hey, why don't we just start the show?
So that's how it happened.
My favorite is Sneaky Hot. The funny thing is, I like the original also. And, you know, like I got two boys, and sometimes as a grown up, you like to keep things to yourself. So I told my kids, this is adult sauce. You don't touch that. This is adult stuff. Because I enjoy it, you know what I mean? Because if your kids get into stuff, they don't know how to stop or leave you a little bit, you know what I mean? So I told them like, that's got adult stuff and you can't have it. Like they thinking it's some liquor or something. I'm like, you can't. You see why I come in this? I mean, this is childproof for kids. You know what I mean? It didn't work for long, it didn't work for long, but it was worth a try, you know what I mean? But, like the fella said, it's a quality product. I love the taste. I'm happy y'all from the hometown, y'all hometown people. So that's even better for me, you know what I'm saying? Because I never knew something like this existed. I know it's a ton of barbecue sauce out there, but the ones say, oh, that's from Indian, that's from Nap right there. I'm like, oh, what you know about this? You don't. So here you go, try it. See what you think about it. So that's how I feel about it, It's a good product. It's good. We all enjoyed it. And I missed the interview, the original interview, but I was at work that night. But man, I didn't tore up. The original's gone already. And I just busted the Sneaky Hot open. And I'm like, ooh. I keep telling them like this Sneaky Hot, that's really adult stuff. So don't mess with it.
I'm laughing, Big G, because man, we hear that a lot, man. Like when we do trade shows, man, it's always the parents always talking about how the kids just be going through the sauce. Yeah. And so they hide it. They hide it in their closet and everything, rationing it out. So we hear that.
It's the truth, man. It's the truth, man.
It's like kids and ketchup. They love their ketchup.
Oh my God.
So I hear some of y'all shying away from that Hoosier Heat. Don't be scared.
I was about to say something.
So like crazy. Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Wesley.
But I'm kind of like with Ramsey, man. I like that Hoosier Heat. I just cooked me a brisket this weekend.
Oh yeah.
And that Hoosier Heat go fire with that brisket, bro. Yeah, and I did the smoked bacon on. I put the bacon on top. They had the smoke. It was fire, man. So, the Hoosier Heat's probably my favorite. I like a little spice of mine. Now, as far as like
Hoosier Heat, Kendrick, it's not as hot as you probably think it is.
Listen, so I think that as adults, you got to know your happy place. You know what I'm saying? you gotta know your sweet spot, right? So I'm gonna try it. But you know what I'm saying? Like we had a talk in one of the other episodes about hot sauce. I just got into hot sauce as an adult. I ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like I just don't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Somebody said it earlier in the interview that people weren't known Indiana for making barbecue sauce. So we know that the palate for Indiana is not as high. So we took that in mind.
Yeah.
So when we talk about Hoosier Heat being the hottest, it's the hottest, but we call it a respectable heat. So it's not going to burn you. If you can take table, pepper, black pepper, you be okay. But there's some palates that may be a little more sensitive.
And let's be clear, there are certain things that I do eat really spicy. I make a chili that my wife absolutely refuses to make. Refuses to eat. Has jalapenos in it. In the recipe, I actually sub the jalapenos for habaneros. So I will do it occasionally, you know what I'm saying? But I'm stepping up. I'm working my way up. More to come. How about
that? Take your time.
Now, as far as my answer for the show, while we do the interview, I'm just gonna everybody said for exposure. That's also too, but it was just the natural evolution of the show. You know what I'm saying? We kind of wanted to step out there, man, and just show our personalities and hopefully, show whoever we're interviewing personalities, man. Because, as you probably seen us during recording and record, man, we like to joke, we like to laugh, like to have a good time. So, that's why we do the interviews.
We appreciate, man, what you guys are doing.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you joining.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, thank you for doing it because, believe it or not, like y'all had some doors slammed in your face, man. We done had some, people who don't want to do an interview or don't want to, show us love back or anything like that. Or So we appreciate you coming on here, and it speaks a lot to y'all character.
Let me just ask this real quick, because one of the questions was, because as you can see, I'm the only one out of this entire group that didn't go to HBCU. That's all I hear is TSU,
Right.
KSU, KSU, TSU, homecoming, etc. So this is the first time I've been on this with look.
No,
right.
Look, he couldn't wait there. Let me click. He was trying to find that button. But all I hear is homecoming. So what would you say, just being from or going or graduating from a predominantly white institution, IU, just like I came from Indiana State, what was the lavish weekend that you all had annually? Because all I hear is homecoming for TSU. So what would you say at IU? This was the weekend that we kicked it.
Little 5, man.
Little 5.
Little 5.
Bam!
Hands
Okay.
down. Hands down.
Yeah.
5.
Okay. It was
I don't
crazy
even
you
know what
said
that is.
Little 5.
Y'all gonna have to tell them what that is.
Okay, and see, and that goes into my next question. It's crazy you said that, because my next question was, look at him. See,
Still
he
fits.
gonna go to
Bundy.
that thing
Still
on.
fits.
That thing ain't gonna come
It
on.
still fits.
Al Bundy.
He gonna bring
He
that
gonna be in the
sauce out
shower
later.
with that on.
4
He's gonna be
touchdowns in
sauce
one
in that
game.
helmet.
It still fits. Just in case.
Now,
Get over here, girl. Got this sauce, this helmet.
right.
Damn.
He had to put some olive oil on the inside.
Hey, it still fits. And I had to pop the ear things out.
He got that big cushion print right here on the side.
Hey, still fits.
But so you mentioned Little 5. I'm not gonna lie, up until maybe my sophomore, junior year in college, I always thought that Little 5 was a Noop weekend. I had absolutely no idea that it was a bike ride. So what Little 5 is Little 500. It's a bike ride. And there's actually a movie that came on back in the 70s where they filmed Little 500 there at IU.
Breaking Away. It's called Breaking Away.
Oh yeah, I
Away.
seen that movie.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
So
Indiana
tell them
University.
about Little 5.
So Little 5.
Or when you
man,
all were in school.
Little 5, man, it was it is. I mean, historically it's a bicycle race. It's a bicycle race. But, you went to IU, you know that wasn't for us.
Right.
We didn't go to that.
Right.
And we did our own thing for Little 5. Because, man, it would be so many people to transcend on our campus, man.
Yep.
So Little 5 weekend, I mean, they kicked it how they kicked it. And the black population, we kicked it how we kicked it. When I say we kicked it all weekend, man, it was crazy. It was crazy.
I came up to kick it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I know.
Oh, yeah.
I got a
It wasn't a
confession.
bike race. Now, when from your
I
time
didn't
being
know
in
what
college,
5 was until my junior year.
what
Yeah,
did you
what?
say, Rodney? I'm
I
sorry.
didn't know what Little 5 was until my junior year.
Exactly.
I had no idea. Somebody said it was a bike race. I thought they was lying. I said,
Like
"Get the
it
hell out of
was.
here, man.
It's a
We about to go
bike
kick it."
race?
But it was
Now-
at IU, right?
Yeah.
And you ain't know Rodney? What?
You hear about here's the thing, Kendrick. You hear about the race. I mean, you hear about the parties. You hear about the weekend.
Okay.
You hear very little about the race. At least I did.
Yeah.
And if I did, I'm thinking, I don't know what the hell they talking about. Little 5 about to come. We about to kick it. It's
No, that's understandable.
State, ball state. I mean, somebody said it was really a bike race. I said, get the hell out of here. Are you serious?
Exactly.
I had no idea.
Yeah. That's
No
understandable.
idea.
Okay.
Did you all ever know of any black people that participated in the bike race?
Man, so the first black sponsored team, Team Major Taylor, was the first team that participated that I know of in the race while I was on the yard. I came a few years after Lathan and Rodney, but Team Major Taylor was the first black sponsored team that was a part of the race. So they tried to bridge the gap, bring us into it. just let the Black population know that that's what they were about. And they did well. But they were the first to really start educating all of us as to what the bike race was really about and sponsored their first team.
Harriman was on some different stuff though, man. Like when we came back to IU for homecoming, man. Man, these dudes, the Noops was stepping with who y'all had, the cheerleading team or the dance?
I think it was the cheer squad.
Yeah, it was the Noops and the cheer squad together. I'm just like, hey, what the hell, man? I mean, they was on some different stuff, man. It was some dope stuff they was doing down there. Yeah.
That's tight.
So the next question would be that I'm from Ohio. I live in Cleveland now. Before you guys decided to go to IU, right? Who was your favorite college football team or college team? Are we talking Purdue? Are we talking IU? Are we talking Notre Dame?
You got that right, Notre Dame.
Man, when I was growing up, man, I used to like the Irish.
Yeah, I knew it. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Tim Brown, Rocket Ishmael.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Tony Rice.
Coach Lou, man. I mean, yeah, if you was from Indiana, regardless if that was your primary team or not, you was rooting for Notre Dame. I mean, that's just.
So you with the Catholics over the convicts?
Now, I tell you, I mean, we ain't really ever had much to cheer for in IU football. I mean, when I went down there my freshman year, I think we had our defense was ranked in the top 10, but I mean, we're basketball school, man. I mean, that's what we do. But I root for the Hoosiers football. And I know we about to get smacked. I'm talking big stuff,
Ohio State.
Oh, I just forgot that. So let me jump in here
now. We always play Ohio. Y'all always almost get beat by us.
Yeah, but what's the final outcome? I'm just wondering because I drink sometimes, so I forget.
You breaking up, man. We can't hear you, man.
All right. I just thought about something. So, you said IU's a basketball school. So y'all just had that crazy legendary coach. Were y'all there when he was there?
Oh, yeah.
And did y'all ever had any interactions with him?
Let me tell you, the closest I had ever been to Bobby Knight, man, I was in summer school. I think it was after my sophomore year. And I was walking on the yard and I was passing our rec building. We call it the Hyper. And the doors were open. So I walk in, I'm looking in, and Bobby Knight is standing there giving a lecture to the kid. I'm like, oh, shoot, you're Bobby Knight. So I stepped in for a minute. So I step in, and it's a basketball camp. And it's little kids. And Bobby Knight is up, and he's giving this talk and whatever. And it's two kids right by his feet. Little kids, man. They had to be like 7, 8. They doing what kids do. They talking, hitting each other, whatever. When I say Bobby Knight cussed them kids out, like they were grown-ups. And man, I honestly, man, I lost a lot of respect for him that day, man. Because I mean, it's one thing how you handle your players and stuff like that, but man, these are little kids, man, who I'm sure look up to you, look up to your team, and they're here at your camp. Man, he cussed them kids smooth out, bad. And I'm looking at the fathers that's on the wall, and they sitting there laughing, like they think it's cute. And I'm like, this is why this dude act like this, because people allow it. They think it's funny. But I lost a lot of respect for him that day, man. And that's the closest I had ever been to Bobby Knight.
My freshman year was the year he got fired. So I had a chance to experience some of the whole campus was in flames. They was rioting, tearing down poles, had big dolls of like the President Miles, setting him on fire. I mean, it was nuts. It was insane. So I didn't get a chance to actually experience, you know, any games, but to be a part of that and see how the campus reacted and the student body, it was nuts. It was nuts.
Hey, you just mentioned something that was kind of crazy. Like they like the fuss at people rioting for
I respect
for
that.
unarmed black person getting killed, but when the coach get fired, they riot. It's okay.
Oh man, the streets was flooded.
Yeah.
Like you
And
wouldn't
you
even
don't
it
hear
was
about
flooded.
it. Like you don't hear about that. You don't hear about that rioting. Like even when Joe Paterno got fired, they rioted at Penn State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bobby was just big. Bobby was bigger than basketball. Bobby was Indiana, you know, and I think just growing up with that, and I mean everybody, my uncles and everybody had mad love for Bobby. But to Lathe's point, I mean he, you know, his ego I think just kind of got in the way, and he really started disrespecting the players, disrespecting the game, and not doing what got him to where he was in the first place. It wasn't about the craft. It was about, I'm Bobby. This is what I do. I'm the general. You know, so.
Yeah, I don't think he even changed, Coop. I think times changed, and he didn't change with the times.
Yep.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
He tried to take that down to Texas, and they weren't having it down there either. Texas Tech, I think.
Yep, that's where it went.
I got a funny recent story. I'm having some internet issues. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
I got a funny recent story about Bobby Knight that kind of put it in perspective how old I was. So there's in Bloomington, there's this meat market, and they build on a steakhouse. They're doing well, and they use our sauce and they sell our bottles of sauce. And so over the summer, I was down in Bloomington, so I stopped in and checked on the owner, chopped it up, and Bobby Knight has moved back to Bloomington.
Yeah.
So I went in to talk to the owner, old white guy, cool as I don't know what, and he told me this story. He said, "Man, guess who I had in not too long ago as a guest?" I said, "Who?" He said, "Bobby Knight." I said, "Oh, really?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "How's he doing? How's he looking?" He said, "Man, he's getting old. His age is showing." But he told me this story, man. Now, as legendary as this dude is, as legendary as he is, he said he got a call that for reservations. Said it's going to be Bobby Knight, his wife, another guy and his wife, and they asked that please do not publicize this. Just keep it a secret. So he said, absolutely. So the owner of the restaurant, he said, he went to his manager and said, "Look, we got Bobby Knight coming in. We need to get our best waitress in here to wait on him. I want him to have the best experience." So anyway, they call the young lady who's an IU student. She's like a sophomore. So they called her in and said, "All right, now listen, we got to tell you something, but you cannot tell anybody this. We got a very special guest coming in, and we selected you to be the waitress because you are our best waitress, and we you gotta do everything right." And she said, "Okay, fine." He said, "I'm gonna tell you who it is, but you can't say anything." She said, "Okay." He said, "It's Bobby Knight." The girl said, "Who's Bobby Knight?" She had no clue who Bobby Knight was. And I said, "Are you serious?" She didn't know who Bobby. He said she had no clue, had never heard of him. And I said, and she goes to IU. She said she never heard of him.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, she's probably 19, 20. She wasn't even born when he got fired. So she don't know who Bobby Knight was. I said, God, I'm getting old. That just put everything in perspective.
They don't have a statue on the yard or anything of Bobby Knight?
They don't, man. They don't. And I
brought to that school?
They should have. They should have a statue of him in front of the stadium. I do believe that. Yeah.
Crazy.
Or at least a chair. They could put a chair
All right, who's the bourbon drinker out of the three? Blanton's, Angel's Envy, or Weller's?
Which Weller?
Angel's Envy.
Which Weller?
Oh, listen.
Mm.
Angel's
Yeah, you
Envy.
gotta open something up.
Mm.
Which one?
We talking Angel Rye. We talking regular. Are we talking cash strength?
Let's do regular because I can't afford none of them other ones. So let's do
I actually like the Angels Envy Ride better than the regular.
I do too. I just had it last night.
Okay.
regular.
Not a rye fan. I gotta go for the regular.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
I got an extra one for you. What about
Yes, sir.
what I'm drinking right now? The Eagle Rare.
Mm.
You know what? I haven't
I know
doubted
a
that
lot
one.
of people who love this boy right
I
here.
love that's
Yeah,
some
I'm
good
one.
stuff.
Yeah,
That's some good stuff.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
And I will recommend you all trying Bro Brothers. That was actually a bourbon that we reviewed, and it's black owned out of Louisville, Kentucky. Okay.
So I'll just say for the fans or for our future fans, make sure you go to John Tom's BBQ.com. You can find us on Facebook, John Tom's BBQ page. Like us, subscribe to us. We definitely interact with the fans, but we wanted to show the fans that, you know, barbecue sauce has been around for a long time. You know, it's not this, we want it to be this fancy roll up your sleeve. It brings people together, family oriented, right? It embodies what we're trying to accomplish from what our grandfather, John Tom Branson, what he would have liked. So all we're doing is carrying that message forward, and we just hope you experience that in the bottle. So go out and buy. Doesn't matter what you put it on. Like I said, celery, potato chips, your spouse, doesn't matter. Just buy plenty, buy it often. So
Like that.
And for the folks in Indiana, it sounds like they can get it at a couple local grocers, right? In at Kroger, a couple Krogers and everything like that, right?
Yep, Kroger, Fresh Time, Targets, butcher shops. If you want the latest listings of where you can be found, just go to our website. I'll give you all the information.
Okay.
All right.
Right.
And then for words of wisdom, who would like to close us out?
We all can say something on that.
Okay.
Go ahead, Coop.
Man, I'll kick it off. I mean, I guess for me, just going through this process, and first and foremost, man, shout outs to you guys for doing this and just bringing us on. Thank you for having us. I mean, it's good, and being able to adapt and adjust to current climate and still network and build, and do it for one another. So thank y'all for that. So I guess for me, just looking at this entire stretch, this entire period, working on John Tom's, being a everyday professional, you know, and doing this pretty much the same time that from when I graduated from college to current day. Man, working with these cats, working with Lethea, working with Rodney, you know, early in the process, we've always looked at what the skill set is and who can do what and how you can bring what to the table. Those are all important. Those are very, very valuable. You have to be able to bring a different perspective. But what I've grown to learn is just the intangibles that really keep us grounded and keep us together. We laugh together. We might cuss each other out. We trust one another. We got each other's back. I mean, the things that you can't go out and pick up a book and learn or teach or script are the things that I think that I've learned to really appreciate more and more throughout the process of us working together. So if anybody's got aspirations to go out, do their own thing, yes, make sure you got somebody that's bringing some skill to the table, but find the intangibles that's going to keep you linked, because those are what's going to matter more and more and more. The more and more challenges that you face and the more obstacles you have to go through, you got to be able to get into that ring and make sure you got each other's back. And I'm grateful that I've got two partners that I can get in there and grind it out with. We've been doing it nonstop.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna go next, and I can't go after Lethea. He'll have you crying. I can't follow that. But I'm gonna echo a little bit what Terrell said. This experience, and this is almost going 15 year run. I couldn't imagine doing this with no matter, I mean, the best two brothers, man, not even just fraternity brothers, but brothers. I mean, we've gone through the fire. There's been a lot of sacrifices, some more than others. But one thing that we've learned through the process are the intangibles. It's not just what we did as a business, what we haven't accomplished as a business, but what we learned individually from our families, what to do and not to do, how to just respect the trust, that we take that into our everyday lives, and understanding that if we say we're going to do something, we do it. We hold each other accountable, and we found a product, we found a goal and a mission, and we weren't chasing the dollar. Right. I think that's the key. We weren't chasing the dollar. Of course, we all want to make money doing this, but if you have a goal, you have a mission that you believe in and you're passionate about, that's a byproduct. The money it'll come. Exactly. And what we're learning is that all the things happen when they're supposed to, not when we want them to. I mean, I can go through another hour or two just talking about all the pitfalls and hurdles that we had. I'm not going to say roadblocks. I'm going to say hurdles, because we've always jumped them. We've always overcome them. And things never happen the way we want them to. They always happen when they're supposed to and we're ready to. So I'll close with this. Just stay faithful. Keep your head to God, and stay hungry and stay humble.
Right.
And I'll just finish up, man. And I heard it once said, if you're going to go into business, if you don't believe in God, you better believe in something, because you're going to need to put your faith in something higher than yourself when you're trying to start something and grow it. I'll tell this story, man. I'll be transparent, man. Coming out of college, man, I was claiming agnostic. I was agnostic. Is there a God? I don't know. I don't care. I ain't saying it is. I'm not saying it is not. And I was always that type of person who felt like I had control of everything. I can control every aspect of my life. But when I tell you this business has drawn me closer to God, because I embedded myself into something where most times I don't have any control. I had that foundation. We grew up in church. Me and Daryl grew up in church. Rodney grew up in church. So I had that foundation. But this business has drawn me closer to God, because I've had to depend on and put my faith in something higher than myself. And with that, a lot of times I talk to people about fear. A lot of times you'll hear people say, well, fear's not real. Fear's not real. No, fear's real. It's real. And, but when you acknowledge that it's real, then you know how to face it, and you recognize it, and you figure out how to get around it and get over it. So I know a lot of people, man, fear stops them in their tracks. They may have a great product, they may have a great idea, but man, that fear will paralyze you. And, I've had so many fearful moments in this business, growing this business, that, hey, when it comes, I'm like, okay, fear, I've seen you before. I know what this is, and I know how to get around you. And you take the bull by the horn, and you just, you get on with it. So don't let that fear paralyze you, man, and just trust in God that, what you're doing, you're following his steps. And like Rodney said earlier, man, this business, honestly, this was written, man. This is ordained. And I really feel like it has nothing to do with us. We were just chosen. God put the reins in our hands, and we're guiding it. So that's what I want to leave with people, man. And thank you, brothers. Thank you for what you do, and continue to do it to, put us out there.
All right, fellas.
Thank you.
You see why I didn't want to go after him?
I'm about to say,
Right. Amen.
Right.
Hey, where the collection plate at? Yeah, you do like one of those dudes who be doing devotion.
No, I play drums, brother.
Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us this evening. And John Tom's Barbecue Sauce, please check them out. John Tom's Barbecue retrospective.com. Did I say it right?
BBQ.
There you go.
BBQ.
Lift it up a little bit. Lift it up so they
Just
can see
pick
that
it up.
website.
We'll have all the information at the end of the show. You see the box. You see the mask on Rodney's face. Stay safe. Wear your mask. This is real. You know, it's spiking. You know, just ask Greg Jones, our HCP. But no,
Yeah,
thank you
coming.
again, gentlemen. And you all take care. Love, peace,
Right,
and
brother.
retrospect.
Yo.
Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all again.